So I have some pretty sad news to report on the upcoming election. You're not going to like this. 3 modelers are predicting President Trump will win re-election in 2020 based on a combination of economic data and incumbent advantages, according to a column in the New York Times. Stephen Rattner wrote that Ray Fair of Yale favors Trump to win based on a model that combines incumbency and gross domestic product growth rates. The model predicted Barack Obama's 2008 popular vote margin within a fraction of a percentage point and got within 0.2 of a point for his 2012 vote share. Rattner, who served as a counselor to the Treasury Secretary during the Obama administration, added, the model correctly predicting an electoral victory for Trump in 2016. The model correctly predicted, I think that's supposed to say, an electoral victory for Trump in 2016, but overestimated his popular vote share by about 5.5 points, which Rattner attributed to Trump's personal unfavorables. Overestimating by 5.5 points, that's actually a giant miss. To be fair, he predicted the Electoral College properly, but being 5.5 points off is like gigantic for the popular vote. And by the way, they go on to say Moody's Analytics chief economist also said Trump is poised to win based on an analysis of 12 models, while Donald Luskin of Trend Macrolytics made a similar prediction based on an Electoral College analysis. So apparently all of these models are saying it looks like Trump is going to get reelected. How accurate are they? I guess they've been accurate in the past, but I don't know. I don't know. Because the thing that made me go, I don't know about all that, is when they talk about gross domestic product. I just don't think that's a good indicator. I don't think that's a good indicator at all. I think it's a very misleading thing where like mainstream media could talk about how, oh my God, isn't that great? GDP is up. And it's like, how much does your average person feel that? And the answer is not much. And also, the other thing that made me go, I don't know about that, is that one of these models was 5.5 points off in the popular vote. That's not a little thing. And for them to say, well, I attributed it to Trump's personal unfavorables, but you knew he had high unfavorables going into the race. So were you that much off? But anyway, here's the bottom line. And this I do believe. Here's what I do believe. As of right now, the race is wide open. Flip a coin right now. Flip a coin right now. So in other words, I don't think Trump is the favorite, but I think it's 50-50. Now, understand that having a race at 50-50 with the traditional economic indicators pointing in the direction that they are, that shows that he's actually kind of a weak candidate. However, that seems like a largely irrelevant point given the broader context of, I think the race is ultimately 50-50 at this point in time. That seems like the bigger point to me. So it depends, obviously, on who the Democrats nominate. I think if the Democrats nominate a neoliberal centrist who lets known that they're neoliberal centrists, then I think the Democrats are in trouble. And I do think that there is a fundamental underestimation still happening of Trump because the candidates that mainstream media thinks and the Democratic leaders think, the candidates that they think are the strongest are actually the weakest against Trump. And the candidates that they think are the weakest are actually the strongest, like Bernie Sanders. So it depends who the Democrats nominate, and that will drastically, obviously, impact what I think is likely to happen. But as of right now, I have a slightly more conservative approach than what the modelers are predicting. I'm not quite sure I agree with the factors they included and how much they weighed those factors. I'm just not so sure I'm in agreement on that. So, to me, I'd say as of right this second, flip a coin. Now, I will add, if the stock market tanks, it's likely Trump loses. If the stock market stays up, depending on who the Democrats nominate, then it's more of an open race. The thing is, when the stock market is up, that's not a good indicator of how your average person is doing. But when the stock market tanks, there are ramifications and repercussions for your average American. It's a little weird in how that functions, but that is how it functions. When the stock market's up, that's more of an indicator of how the rich are doing. But when it tanks, the rich also do worse, but also the corporations lay off people more and it impacts wages. And of course, the first people to feel it are regular people. So you don't see the benefits of the upside, but you do experience the downsides. It's really kind of fucked up and the game is rigged, but that's the point. The game is rigged and everybody knows the game is rigged. So, but at least according to some experts, and this is actually a really important story for that reason alone. Now, you can agree or disagree with my own personal analysis of this situation, by all means. But just know, as of right now, there are various modelers saying Donald Trump is going to get reelected. So, take that for what it's worth. Seems like a pretty important story.